Part 21. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 201. After some persuasion from Zhang Sanhe, Tang Shenjian also felt that he was thinking too much. Today's Shen Tanghui, if all the top troops are added together, are no worse than any of the small princes of the demonic Tang dynasty. Besides, I already have my trump card. This trump card is your biggest barrier. Once you use this trump card, Jinpeng Li Yuanba, who was originally only in the first level realm, can transform into a terrifying existence in the Saint realm. Saint realm. What a terrifying state. That is an existence beyond ordinary people. Thinking of this, Tang Shenjian felt that his worries were unnecessary. I will definitely be able to win Shen Haiguan. Seeing that Tang Shenjian was no longer nervous, Zhang Sanhe smiled and said nothing more. In this way, the team headed straight towards Shen Haiguan. At this time, Tang Shenjian suddenly felt something in his heart. When he looked up at the sky, 4 black spots appeared in the sky. At first, Tang Shenjian thought it was some sort of flying bird. But gradually, the black spot grew larger and larger, and it turned into a strange-looking bird. The strange bird grew bigger and bigger, and in an instant, it showed its true appearance. After the strange bird came over their team, it gradually stopped moving forward. Seeing this scene, Tang Shenjian's heart rang with alarm bells. There is a monster. Prepare to be alert. Monster. For a time, the entire Shen-Tang Alliance army became vigilant. Zhang Sanhe also saw the red-flamed goshawk in the sky. He narrowed his eyes slightly and snorted coldly. Ordinary monsters would inevitably panic and flee when they saw such a large number of coalition forces. There are endless incidents of monsters attacking humans. But it is very rare to actively attack the army. What's more, there were only 4 monsters that dared to attack them. Archers, prepare. Let these monsters taste the sharpness of our arrows. As soon as he finished speaking, all the archers took off their bows and arrows and aimed at the red-flamed goshawk in the sky. Shoot the arrow. With a sharp shout, the arrows struck directly at the red flame goshawk like a torrential rain. The red flame goshawk looked at the arrows attacking them and opened its mouth without hesitation. The true energy gathered into flames, and a fireball shot out directly from their throats. The fireball fell into the rain of arrows and exploded instantly. The arrow rain in the sky was immediately dispersed, and a large empty area appeared. The other red flame goshawks were not idle either, they were accumulating power again. Boom! A fireball landed directly among the Shen Tanghui coalition forces. The flames suddenly exploded, sweeping across the 3 armies and turning into an endless heat wave. Just one fireball killed hundreds of soldiers. At this moment, Tang Shenjian realized that these monsters were not ordinary monsters. Shenji Camp. With a click, the sharpshooters of the Shenji battalion had already prepared their arrows. Draw the bow and knock an arrow, and inject the true energy into it. Whoosh! An arrow shot directly towards the red flame goshawk like a shooting star. The arrow was extremely powerful, and the red flame goshawk spit out a fireball. Unexpectedly, the fireball not only failed to burn up the arrow. Instead, the arrow passed through the fireball and struck towards the red flame goshawk. Seeing this scene, the sharpshooter from the Shenji battalion showed a disdainful smile. A mere monster. Before he could react, the red flame goshawk actually caught the arrow with its talons. The next second, a fierce light suddenly appeared in the eyes of the red flame goshawk. Go! The arrow was thrown, and the red flame goshawk waved its wings. A hurricane carried the arrows, and struck directly at the sharpshooters of the Shenji battalion with lightning speed. Then the marksman immediately drew his bow and set an arrow. For ordinary people, using another arrow to hit an arrow flying in the air is a fantasy. But they are the sharpshooters of the Shenji camp. Whoosh! Arrows fly out. With a bang, the arrows in the air were shattered. But just when the marksman thought the crisis was over, the exploding arrow fragments penetrated his head directly like a flying steel needle. The red flame goshawk laughed loudly and mocked those smart marksmen. The arrow was infused with true energy, and crushing it was undoubtedly like crushing a grenade. The scattered fragments will be turned into weapons covering the entire field. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of people died again. At this time, Lu Jin spoke. Okay, don't kill anymore. If they continue to kill, it is estimated that this army of 100,000 people will be beaten to pieces by the red flame goshawk. He also expected these people to serve as experience packages for Bai Qi. Wouldn't it be a pity if they all died? Go. Following Lu Jin's order, the killing god Bai Qi and the Len Yun sisters jumped up from under the red flame goshawk. Boom. 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 The three of them landed, holding their weapons in their hands. Bai Qi was holding his own killing demon sword, Len Yun was armed with various knives, and Len Yun next to him was using a soft sword. Looking at the three people who suddenly fell from the sky, the ominous premonition resurfaced in Tang Shenjian's heart. Kill. With an order, Bai Qi rushed straight into the coalition forces. In just a few breaths, he harvested the lives of several soldiers. Len Yun glanced at Len Yu, who shook his head and signaled Len Yun not to worry about her. Seeing this, Len Yun said nothing more. With a bang, Len Yun pulled out a pair of double knives from his back. The cold light of the two swords is revealed. Cut! Len Yun rushed directly into the crowd. At this time, a heavily armed heavy cavalry came to Len Yun. The moment he saw Len Yun, the heavy cavalryman directly held the long-handled axe and slashed at Len Yun like a mountain. But Len Yun only took half a step to the side and easily dodged the heavy cavalry's long axe. The two knives in his hands were slashed directly. The heavy cavalry did not resist, and he was confident that his defense was definitely the strongest. But the next second, he felt a sharp pain. The armor he was proud of was split in half by Len Yun. Even the heavy cavalry among them were split open by Len Yun. Len Yun looked at the corpse on the ground with a cold gaze, as if he had just split an object. But at this moment, Len Yun felt something was wrong. Cold. The biting cold penetrates deep into your soul. She felt that her energy began to become violent, and her state became more and more crazy. Lu Jin in the air looked at Len Yun, who looked like this, and couldn't help but narrow his eyes slightly. This breath is the breath of Godhead. Is it finally time to transform? Lu Jin once gave each of the Len Yun sisters a divine general fate. The destiny of the God General has given them infinite possibilities of normality. Now the destiny of the God General has begun to transforming into the true Godhead. If Len Yun succeeds today, she will be Lu Jin's second person with Godhead. Elder sister. Len Yu noticed something was wrong with Len Yun's state. At this moment, an astonishing aura erupted from her body. Is this the breath of Godhead? Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the God-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 202. Len Yu immediately rushed into the enemy formation. In an instant, the long sword in her hand turned into countless sword rain falling from the sky. The dense sword energy was like a rain curtain, covering both sisters. At this moment, Len Yu no longer looked as gentle and elegant as usual. Her eyes were sharp, and the long sword in her hand was filled with murderous intent. My sister protected me before, now it's my turn to protect my sister. Before he finished speaking, violent sword energy burst out from the long sword. Len Yu suddenly looked behind him and swung his sword. The pure white sword energy was filled with murderous intent and attacked directly towards the blood axe hand. The blood axemen didn't dare to show any signs of neglect when they saw this, and their true energy condensed into the long axes in their hands. Cut it out with one blow. But the moment their weapons touched the sword energy went straight through. brush. All the blood axemen were split in half by the sword energy. Such sharp sword energy made Lu Jin even look at him with admiration. It seems that I usually pay too much attention to Len Yun, but I ignore Len Yu. After all, Len Yun and Len Yu were both given the destiny of being divine generals by Lu Jin. As the name suggests, the destiny of a divine general means having a special destiny that enables people to become a divine general. It elevates a person's talents to the point where they do not belong to him. Without the divine general destiny, Len Yun and Len Yu would have become mediocre civilians in Qianlong City. But they chose their own path and accepted the destiny of God. That means that they will definitely go a long way in the future. And they did not disappoint Lu Jin. Len Yun showed his edge early on. Now she has a tendency to condense her divine personality, which proves that Lu Jin's decision to give her the destiny of a divine general was not a wrong decision. As for Len Yu, she was unknown, following Len Yu like a shadow. She didn't fight or grab, but Lu Jin often ignored this girl. Now he looked at the battlefield again. The girl who killed decisively and looked like a ruthless swordsman was completely different from the usual Len Yu. The corners of Lu Jin's mouth raised slightly, not bad. This is what the new generation of Longhan should look like. At this moment, a sudden change occurred on the battlefield, and Len Yun exuded a frightening scarlet aura. The scarlet ominous aura condensed in Len Yun's hands. Not long after, a familiar aura rose up on Len Yun. The breath of Godhead. But Lu Jin frowned slightly. Why was this divine aura so weak? Compared with the divine aura of Bai Qi, the god of death, it is like a bright moon and a firefly. But before Lu Jin could continue thinking, a pure white aura appeared on Len Yu. Another godhead. But the aura is still weak, even weaker than Len Yun's divine aura. Lu Jin touched his chin. He had only learned about the godhead from Puppet. But the current situation could not be found in his memory. At this time, Bai Qi, the god of death in the battlefield, noticed the changes in the two sisters Len Yun and Len Yu. Seeing the aura around them, the god of death Bai Qi couldn't help but change his expression. Godhead. Condensing divine power on the battlefield? The god of death Bai Qi simply couldn't believe that in the entire Hunyuan continent, only one person among hundreds of millions of people had the potential to condense Godhead. And now, there are two monsters condensing their Godhead in front of him. Suddenly, the god of death Bai Qi looked at Lu Jin in the sky. Could it be that His Majesty brought them to the battlefield to practice just because he knew their potential? At this moment, the god of death Bai Qi felt that he still underestimated the entire Longhan's background. I thought that I had divine power and could become the strongest person in Longhan. But the successive blows made him understand how terrifying the entire Longhan was. We can't continue to slack off. A fierce light flashed in the eyes of the god of death Baiki, and he stared scorchingly at the coalition forces in front of him. His eyes are full of desire and madness for killing. Kill. If he wants to become stronger, he has no choice but to kill. 100,000 coalition troops, in his eyes, are 100,000 experience packs. And Len Yun here looked at the godhead in his hand, and the killing intent in his eyes became even stronger. Sister, are you okay? At this time, Len Yu came to Len Yun's side. When Len Yun saw his sister Len Yu, the murderous intent in her eyes was immediately overwhelmed by tenderness. Len Yun looked at her sister Len Yu tenderly, and she naturally saw her sister fighting bravely to protect herself. This couldn't help but make her love Len Yu even more. I'm fine. Rather, this is an opportunity for the two of us. Len Yun stretched out her hand, and a godhead as scarlet as blood appeared in her palm. Len Yu also stretched out her hand, and the pure white godhead was floating quietly in her palm. Len Yun, the god of Shura. Len Yu, the god of swords and water. Lu Jin, who was in the air, naturally saw the divine attributes of the two people. The Shura godhead, and the sword and water godhead. But compared to the god of death Bai Qi, the gods of Len Yun and Len Yu seem particularly immature. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. An extremely huge force of true energy surged into the sky among the army. You dare to be a traitor? Boom! A figure, like a wild bull, rushed straight out of the coalition forces. Upon seeing this, Len Yun immediately put away the Shura godhead. When he raised his hands, the two swords were in her hands, blocking them directly in front of her. The next second, a meteor hit directly on her double swords. The ground is cracked. Dense cracks spread around like a spider web. Among the smoke and dust, Len Yun's voice came. Xiao, just leave this to me. Len Yu released her true energy to investigate, and after investigating, she breathed a sigh of relief. I understand, sister. When the smoke and dust dissipated, they saw a general holding two hammers, his eyes were split open, veins popped out in his arms, and the hammers were pressing on Len Yun's swords with all their strength. I am Jinpeng Li Yuanba. Who are you? Please tell me your name. I, Li Yuanba, never kill unknown people. After saying that, Li Yuanba once again burst out with astonishing infuriating pressure. In an instant, a shadow of a golden rock of the sun appeared behind him. The moment the shadow of the sun golden peng appeared, Li Yuanba's strength soared again. Rumble. Li Yuanba and Len Yun stood there, seemingly motionless. But the ground beneath their feet had begun to gradually collapse, and the terrifying pressure of true energy almost enveloped the entire battlefield. Seeing this scene, Tang Shenjian's expression changed. Who are these people? At this moment, even Zhang Sanhe next to him felt a sense of disbelief. From the appearance of the monster to the almost defeat of the coalition forces, the process does not even take a stick of incense. Everything happened so fast that Tang Shenjian had no time to react. It's like a deserted land among the coalition forces, and the killing god Bai Qi is harvesting like crazy. The sword energy is like rain, a cold rain that can kill thousands of people with just one sword. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 203. Who are these monsters? They didn't even know who the other party was, but they were already killed and defeated. Tang Shenjian felt like he was in a dream. At this time, Zhang Sanhe felt something was wrong. Leader, these people are so terrifyingly powerful that they are probably masters beyond the first level. Now that Li Yuanba has delayed one of them, let's run away. If we keep the green hills, we won't have to worry about running out of firewood. If the troops are gone, we can train them again. If our lives are gone, then we are really dead. Escape. When this word appeared in Tang Shenjian's mind, Tang Shenjian felt unrealistic for a while. I am the leader of the Shengtang Association. He was also a powerful little prince in Yaotang. His development from the territory to the present has been smooth, and he has never suffered a defeat along the way. But today, he experienced his first failure. The price of this failure is that all his generals and units will be wiped out. No. There is still a chance. I still have a trump card. Tang Shenjian gritted his teeth. Unexpectedly, I had to show this trump card before I even arrived at Shenhaiguan. Trump card? Hearing that Tang Shenjian had another trump card, Zhang Sanhe originally planned to run away, but then turned around and came back. Have a trump card? Then why didn't you take it out earlier? And at this moment, a heart-stopping force of infuriating energy burst out. The terrifying coercion instantly enveloped the entire battlefield, and everyone's hearts were filled with a layer of gloom. Name? You don't deserve to hear it. Len Yun raised his hand and flicked Li Yuanba away. Li Yuanba was bounced away by the huge force and took several steps back. His eyes were filled with wonder. How can it be? He is born with divine power, and so far he has never seen anyone who can defeat him in terms of strength. Li Yuanba was shocked at first, but then his eyes were overwhelmed by the strong fighting spirit. Very good. I have been fighting for many years and have never met an opponent. You are the first person to defeat me in strength. Are you also born with divine power? Innate divine power? Len Yun showed a smile. But this smile is full of disdain and contempt. You are too weak. With that said, Len Yun put away his swords and took out a flying knife from his waist. One blow is enough to deal with you. At this moment, Li Yuanba felt that he had been underestimated. His self-esteem was frustrated. Li Yuanba roared angrily, and the energy in his body activated the demon soul in his body. The golden rock of the sun emerges. Today, you have to pay the price for underestimating your enemy. The next second, the flying knife penetrated Li Yuanba's chest directly. Li Yuanba lowered his head and saw a big hole in his chest. And this bloody hole was only caused by Len Yun's flying knife. How is this possible? The blood flowed away rapidly, and Li Yuanba's hands and feet became colder and colder. Seeing Li Yuanba's defeat, Tang Shenjian's expression suddenly turned ugly. The invincible Li Yuanba, who is in the first level realm, actually lost? Tang Shenjian knew that now was the time to use his trump card. Thinking of this, Tang Shenjian took out a demon soul bead from his arms. The moment he saw this demon soul bead, Zhang Sanhe's eyes straightened. Is this the three-legged golden crow's demon soul bead? Oh no, boss, how did you get it? The three-legged golden crow is a divine beast-level existence. Tang Shenjian naturally knew that he had paid a huge price to obtain this demon soul bead. Once this demon soul bead is used, it will release a trace of the remaining soul of the three-legged golden crow. Although it is a remnant soul, if it is fused with Li Yuanba, who possesses the golden rock of the sun, it will definitely forcibly elevate Li Yuanba's strength to the realm of a saint. But this will also burn Li Yuanba's life. Once the fusion begins, Li Yuanba will continue to increase his strength until he completely loses his mind and becomes a demon. At that time, he was no longer Li Yuanba, but a monster. Lu Jin in the air naturally saw the demon soul bead in Tang Shenjian's hand, but he did not organize it. He watched helplessly as Tang Shenjian crushed the demon soul bead, and the three-legged golden crow remnant soul of the demon soul bead penetrated into the dying Li Yuanba's body. In an instant, a large number of golden feathers appeared on Li Yuanba's body. These golden feathers burned like flames. Li Yuanba suddenly opened his eyes, and the wound on his chest disappeared. But now that he has lost consciousness, what dominates this body is more of the remnant soul of the three-legged golden crow. Li Yuanba roared angrily and let out the roar of a monster. His sharp eyes stared directly at Len Yun. Len Yun frowned slightly when he looked at Li Yuanba, who was possessed by the three-legged golden crow in front of him. Cut! Swing out the knife! The whole space trembled. Li Yuanba was split in half by Len Yun's blade, but almost instantly, golden flames spurted out from his body. The next second, he returned to his original appearance. Great! Now even those monsters can't do anything to Li Yuanba, who has fused with the three-legged golden crow. Let's leave now. When Li Yuanba is completely demonized, I'm afraid even we won't be able to recognize him. Tang Shenjian understood that the demon soul pearl had been used, and he only needed to quickly evacuate the battlefield. But just as they were about to leave, Lu Jin's figure appeared in front of them. Lu Jin threw several heads in front of Tang Shenjian. Tang Shenjian felt a chill in his heart when he saw those familiar faces. I haven't said anything yet, you can leave. Behead. Lu Jin killed both Tang Shenjian and Zhang Sanhe. After beheading him, Lu Jin clapped his hands and threw his head aside. His eyes still fell on Li Yuanba. Now Li Yuanba had no human form, and his whole body was enveloped in flames. At this moment, he already looked like a monster. Len Yun frowned slightly and kept cutting out the blade in his hand. But the weird thing is that no matter how she attacks, Li Yuanba in front of her seems to turn into a ball of flame. For insubstantial fire attacks, no matter how harsh your own attack is, it can't hurt you at all. Damn it! Len Yun was a little impatient. Just when she was about to mobilize her Genkai to activate her divine power, a familiar big hand fell on her shoulder. It's Lu Jin. The moment she was touched by Lu Jin, Len Yun, like this hedgehog-like girl, instantly put away all her sharp edges. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. Len Yun's little face suddenly turned extremely red. But Lu Jin didn't notice Len Yun's change. All his attention was on the three-legged golden crow in front of him. That's right. Li Yuanba has been completely demonized. The person standing in front of Lu Jin now could no longer be said to be Li Yuanba. But it is a saint-level monster, a three-legged golden crow. The three-legged golden crow let out a roar, and the flames on its body were as dazzling as the sun. Lu Jin smiled slightly and said nothing. But the familiar demon-suppressing pagoda appeared in his palm. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 204. Seeing the demon-suppressing pagoda in Lu Jin's hand, the three-legged golden crow suddenly felt an ominous premonition rising in his heart. This is the instinctive fear of monsters. That thing in human hands will definitely cause huge harm to them. Thinking of this, the three-legged golden crow had almost no hesitation. Flames rose up all over his body, and the three-legged golden crow turned into a meteor and soared into the sky. Lu Jin sneered and wanted to run. How can it be? The infuriating pressure burst out. Boom! The three-legged golden crow suddenly felt as if he was carrying a huge mountain on his back. The mountain-like heavy infuriating pressure fell, and the three-legged golden crow was directly suppressed to the ground, unable to move. Seeing this scene, Lu Jin walked forward casually. Human! You have no grievances against me. Let me go, and you will gain the friendship of my Golden Crow clan. Did the three-legged golden crow speak? Lu Jin was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, it seems that the demonization has been completely completed, and you can actually speak. At this time, the three-legged golden crow spoke again. My three-legged golden crow has begun to come to the world one after another along with the fortune, and the Golden Crow clan will revive again. If you kill me here today, my Golden Crow clan will definitely not let you go easily. You know, the leader of our Golden Crow clan is a real divine beast. Before the three-legged Golden Crow could finish its words, Lu Jin directly interrupted it. Noisy! Lu Jin snorted coldly, he even dared to refine the clones of ancient Egyptian gods into puppets. How dare Jinwu threaten him? If the Golden Crow clan was really powerful, they wouldn't have disappeared for so long, and they would only now begin to use demonization to increase the number of their clan. Therefore, Lu Jin would not believe the words of the three-legged golden crow at all. Suppression. The demon-suppressing pagoda in his hand flew out directly. The three-legged golden crow wanted to say something, but it was directly swallowed by the demon-suppressing pagoda. When it reacted again, it had already appeared in the demon suppression pagoda. Seeing that in room after room, hundreds of demonic beasts were imprisoned in the spatial cages of the demon suppressing pagoda, the three-legged golden crow began to panic. Human, how dare you do this to me? Before he finished speaking, an impatient voice came from the cage opposite. Damn it, why are you making such a fuss? I slept so soundly, but you woke me up. You've all been caught, can't you be more honest? The figure in the cage emerged, it was the Yamata no Orokai who was captured by Lu Jin. It's just that the Yamata no Orokai's aura is weak now, and even the power of his soul has become extremely fragile. This is because when making the demon soul bead, Lu Jin frequently cut up the soul of the Yamata no Orokai. Although Yamata no Orokai is in pain, there is no other way. As long as he is caught in the demon suppression pagoda and treated as a slave, that is already the best outcome. Just like Tamamome, although she was subdued by Lujin, she lost her freedom and dignity. But compared to the Yamata no Orokai, which is harvested as leeks, its treatment is not much better. The Yamata no Orokai has now looked away, and since he can't get out anyway, he just moves forward and becomes the overlord of the demon-suppressing pagoda. Although each cage in the demon-suppressing pagoda has limitations, it cannot transmit the true energy. But the pressure between monsters and beasts does not fall into this range, so what Yamata no Orokai likes most is to exude the pressure of his big monster and bully those weak monsters. Today, Yamata no Orokai was resting. During his rest time, other monsters did not dare to make any movement, for fear of offending the living king of hell. Unexpectedly, just when Yamata no Orokai was sleeping soundly, the three-legged golden crow was thrown in. For a moment, the Yamata no Orokai exuded its beastly power and wanted to teach the three-legged golden crow a lesson. The three-legged golden crow felt the power of the Yamata no Orokai and couldn't help but snorted. The scent of Sakura monster is so disgusting. For this kind of thing, one can only ask Baichi, the god of death, or call Puppet. Yamata no Orokai was slightly startled. Demon Saint? Blood filled the air, and Lujin walked among the corpses, letting go of his true energy to sense his surroundings. At this time, the battlefield has also come to an end. But so what if he is a demon saint? Len Yun and Len Yu both obtained godhood, and Baichi's attributes were almost stacked. After all, in the entire Long Han, only Puppet Set and the god of death Baichi knew something about the godhead. But this is considered normal. Generally, monsters will be active for a period of time after entering it. When they realize that their efforts are in vain, they will be honest. Although the two of them killed many enemies, there was no blood on their bodies. So, I think we should return to Shenhaiguan to take a rest now. Yamata no Orokai was even more in awe of Lujin. The next second, the flames of the three-legged golden crow were absorbed by the demon-suppressing pagoda. Your Majesty, I think we should go back to Shenhaiguan to repair it now. It seems that the three-legged golden crow is not very honest among them. No one understands the godhead better than him, the god's avatar. Perhaps, staying here is also a good choice. Unexpectedly, after many days, another demon saint was imprisoned in the demon-suppressing pagoda. I have to say that the harvest from this experience is huge. Give up. Since you are locked in, don't even think about escaping. On Lujin's side, he felt the energy coming back from the demon-suppressing pagoda. Because I discovered during the battle that Miss Leng had condensed her divine personality. Her divine personality had just been condensed and was in an unstable embryonic state. In an instant, the three-legged golden crow burst out with astonishing flames and attacked directly in the direction of the Yamata no Orokai. Fortunately, after returning to Shenhaiguan, he could summon Puppet Set from Qianlong City. Lujin raised his hand and directly removed the blood stains on his body. Ha ha ha, looking at your stupid look, do you really think you can escape from this place? Looking at the flames that suddenly disappeared, the three-legged golden crow looked confused. At least there won't be any threats here, but if you escape, you will probably be smashed into pieces by that terrifying existence. Lujin nodded, and he happened to have such a wish. Tisk, 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 I didn't look carefully just now. It turns out that he is from the Golden Crow clan. But the god of death Baichi is different. He seems to enjoy the feeling of dripping blood, so he now looks like an evil ghost returning from hell. If we continue to practice and something unexpected happens, it is very likely that it will have a certain impact on Miss Leng's divine concentration. However, Len Yun and Len Yun's godheads are a bit strange. After confirming that everyone was killed, Lujin looked at Len Yun and Len Yu. At this time, the god of death Baichi took a step forward. Under the setting sun, the entire land was dyed blood red. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 205. Inside Shanhaiguan, the garrison on the city wall stood ready. No one dares to slack off, because now they have to face Yaotang's counterattack all the time. This time, Yaotang has sent 100,000 coalition troops to counterattack. So what's next? An army of millions? Or is it the arrival of a being in the Saint Realm? Everything is possible. They all knew that Yaotang's strength was not comparable to that of Manhu. The soldiers guarding the city knew it very well, and Lu Jin knew it even better. Therefore, he did not go deep into Yaotang. At this moment, he was sitting on the ground. Opposite him was Puppet, who came from Qianlong City. Puppet looked at the three people in front of him, and the shock in his eyes was even worse. 3 godheads? What the hell? Where did these 3 godheads come from? He had told Lu Jin before that the number of godheads in the entire Hunyuan continent was fixed. If no god falls, there will be no second god born. Is it because of the destruction of Gao Tianyuan that there is a vacancy in the divine position? But your speed is too fast. In just a short time, you have condensed 2 gods. As for Brother Bai Chi, your divine aura does not belong to this world, so your divine presence does not occupy the divine quota of this world. Poseidon sighed. In order to create a god in ancient Egypt, I don't know how much effort it took. But Long Han directly condensed 2 divine heads without saying a word. This time, the godhead in Lu Jin's hand was added. Today's Long Han is equivalent to 4 gods sitting in charge. The size of the 4 gods is equivalent to the configuration of a small divine kingdom. Since Long Han has so many gods, I won't hide them. The godheads of Len Yun and Len Yu are real godheads. The reason why their auras are so weak is because their godheads have just been born, and they are prototypes that have not yet truly taken shape. The truly formed godhead is similar to the godhead in Bai Chi's body. The energy continuously circulates to provide the god himself with powerful combat power. Next, I will teach you a practice method that can transform true energy into divine power. That's right. If you want to activate the godhead, you need to use divine power. In a way, divine power is a concentrated version of true energy. The method is extremely simple. After all, this cultivation method of transforming divine power has long been spread as a common method in the kingdom of God. Len Yun understood it the fastest and directly used this cultivation method to transform the true energy into divine power. Really? After the true energy is transformed into divine power, the divine power is immediately absorbed by the Godhead. The Godhead nourished by divine power suddenly became much more solid. I see. Next to him, Bai Chi also tried to use this cultivation method to transform, but he found that as soon as the transformed divine power entered his body, it was dyed with strong murderous intent by his own Godhead. Bai Chi was speechless for a while. His physical talent was not suitable for the cultivation methods of this world at all. Even if he practiced cultivation, it would be of little help to him. Simply, Bai Chi stopped practicing. Instead of practicing here, it would be better to get more bonuses by killing an enemy yourself. As Lu Jin watched Len Yun and Len Yu begin to practice, he couldn't help but touch his chin. Is this the God's practice method? Lu Jin opened his eyes in the temple of time and space, and he tried to use the divine power cultivation method. The true energy in his body began to be transformed into divine power by Lu Jin. But because he did not have a Godhead, the transformed divine power was entrenched in Lu Jin's body. At this moment, Lu Jin felt it. A bottleneck exists. Lu Jin felt happy and immediately mobilized the divine power he had obtained. Boom! Wisp after wisp of divine power, like waves, continuously impacted the transparent barrier in front of him. I don't know how long the bombardment lasted. Suddenly, there was a crisp sound in my mind. The barrier that symbolized the realm of demigods actually broke through a crack at this moment. There's drama. Lu Jin has so much time and energy to spend. As long as he can break through the demigod realm, he can absorb the godhead and achieve the status of god. Click. There were more and more cracks on the barrier, and Lu Jin continued to gather his divine power to attack the barrier. It has to be said that if an ordinary person were to break through Lu Jin's barrier, it would probably be difficult to break through it even in a lifetime. But Lu Jin has now obtained the method of cultivating divine power in advance, and he has a lot of time in the temple of time and space. He broke through the bottleneck of the demigod realm, and the difficulty dropped directly by thousands of times. Final blow. All the true energy is condensed into a divine power. That golden divine power penetrated the barrier directly like a sharp sword. Snapped. A crisp sound sounded in Lu Jin's mind. Almost instantly, the entire Qianlong city's spiritual energy fluctuated. All the spiritual energy seemed to be pulled by the vortex in the center, and they gathered in the direction of the time and space palace. The terrifying traction even formed a spiritual vortex on the temple of time and space. Tong Yuan and others were practicing when they suddenly noticed the changes in the aura of Qianlong city, and they all reacted from their cultivation state. What's the situation? Such a terrifying spiritual change. Everyone gathered in the time and space palace, but Yu Qigong and Fang Xianling were well informed and could see the clues at a glance. Someone has broken through and entered the realm of demigods. As soon as these words came out, everyone immediately understood. Who can break through the demigods and make such a big move? There is no doubt that there is only that adult. The master of the entire Long Han, Long Yuan Emperor Lu Jin. Lu Jin almost unreasonably absorbed the spiritual energy around him. The spiritual energy was converted into true energy, and the true energy was transformed into divine power by Lu Jin. Divine power burst out from the body and turned into thousands of threads to start refining the godhead obtained by Lu Jin. And this godhead was trembling all over, as if resisting or afraid. But Lu Jin didn't care about its attitude. In an instant, the godhead was refined, and a godhead appeared in Lu Jin's body. But is this the end? No. It's not finished yet. This godhead was originally the godhead of other gods. After being picked up by Lu Jin, it became an ownerless godhead. Now that Lu Jin has absorbed it, it will transform into a unique godhead belonging to Lu Jin according to Lu Jin's state. Bring it on. Start converting. Lu Jin was also curious about what his godhead would look like. Just as Lu Jin was waiting for transformation, the dragon energy in his body actually appeared again. Roar. All the dragon energy rushed towards the godhead. Before Lu Jin could react, all the dragon energy gathered inside the godhead. The godhead suddenly came alive. Dragon patterns appeared on the surface, and an extremely terrifying aura burst out from the godhead. Moreover, this aura continues to soar. Finally, the aura of the godhead stopped. At this time, looking at the godhead in front of him, Lu Jin couldn't help but feel confused. What's the situation? Why is my godhead so great? At this time, the name of the godhead also appeared in Lu Jin's mind. Supreme Godhead. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 206. Is this my own godhead? Looking at the abnormally huge godhead in his body, Lu Jin was a little silent. Compared with all the gods he has seen, his own god is definitely an alien. Not only is it huge, but it can also automatically absorb its own energy and convert it into divine power. As for those dragon spirits, although they have now been swallowed up by the godhead. But Lu Jin could feel that the dragon energy still existed, but within the divine head, if he wanted to mobilize it, he could still mobilize it at any time. Thinking of this, Lu Jin mobilized his divine power. In an instant, a huge cube appeared between his hands. And at this moment, the aura between heaven and earth became even crazier. The entire Supreme Godhead is like a black hole, madly absorbing all the spiritual energy around it. Everyone outside the time and space palace was slightly stunned. Because at that moment, they could clearly feel that the suction force had strengthened again. In fact, the entire space-time temple was sucked into a vacuum of spiritual energy. Just standing here, the energy overflowing from their bodies surged towards the space-time palace involuntarily. What a terrifying suction force! Is this a breakthrough in the demigod realm? No. There is no such big news about the breakthrough of the demigod realm. I can only say that, as expected of your majesty, throughout history, no one has ever been able to trigger such a vision when they broke through to the demigod realm. Absorbing so much spiritual energy, the divine power transformed must be a huge amount. Just a demigod can absorb so much infuriating energy, so the reserve of divine power must not be small. Puppet Qigong and Puppet Fang Xianling were in even greater awe of Lu Jin at this moment. It's hard to imagine the divine power that can be transformed by so much infuriating energy. Lu Jin, who was in the temple of time and space, looked at the Godhead in his hand that was continuously absorbing the spiritual energy. The specific attributes of the Godhead also appeared in front of him. Name: Supreme Godhead. Quality: the only God level. Effect: 1. Divinity, can automatically absorb true energy and convert it into divine power, and the conversion efficiency is 10 times that of ordinary Godhead. Effect: 2. Divine power, the most powerful and powerful Godhead, which can release the power of the God and intimidate the enemy's Godhead. Effect: 3. God's gift, all the dragon energy in the divine grid is upgraded to the energy of the divine dragon, and the level of the divine dragon guard is upgraded to the immortal realm. Effect: 4. Divine blessing, those who hold this Godhead will have the potential of the kingdom of God in their territories, and have a chance to automatically generate divine power. Good guy. When Lu Jin saw a series of attribute panels, he immediately felt that it was not surprising that he had a higher Godhead. After all, he is the Supreme Godhead. He is bigger and more powerful. Isn't that normal? Lu Jin put the Supreme Godhead away, and he could feel that 90% of the true energy in his body had been converted into divine power. Lu Jin has not yet transformed all his true energy into divine power. After all, the pressure of divine power is too terrifying. Even using divine power to perform the most low-level mortal martial arts will have devastating effects. Therefore, Lu Jin decided to keep some energy just in case. Opening his property panel again, Lu Jin found that his property panel had undergone earth-shaking changes. Name: Lu Jin. Title: Long Xia Supreme, National Destiner, Long Yuan Emperor. Positioning: Lord, Supreme God. Realm: Demigod Realm. Godhead: Supreme Godhead. Owned territories: Qianlong City, Luoyang, Manhu Imperial City. Without the bottleneck of the demigod realm, it was only a matter of time before Lu Jin could break through and enter the God-human realm. And just after Lu Jinggong broke through and absorbed the Godhead, the Demon Tang King in Demon Tang Chang'an City seemed to have noticed something. In a secret room, the Demon King Tang came to a mural. This mural is very strange, it shows the entire Hunyuan continent. And throughout the Hunyuan continent, there are shining stars one after another in every region. But in the area where Sakura country is located, all their stars have been extinguished, leaving only a series of dim stars. That's right. These stars represent the places where all the gods exist. Once a star goes out, it means that a god has fallen. It is precisely because of the existence of this mural that the king of Yaotang can clearly know that the god of Sakura Kingdom has fallen. But now, it seems that all the gods of Sakura Kingdom have fallen. The gods have fallen, the movement of the gods is unknown, and I don't even know what happened. Your Majesty, I have something important to report. Walk out of the secret room and come to the palace. Just as Monarch Tang was watching carefully, the star suddenly burst out with astonishing light like the sun. Both of them are now first-rank officials among military generals. Long Han. A small alien dynasty, but I underestimated him before. Caught off guard, Monarch Tang felt like his eyes were going to be blinded by the flash. Very good. Across the door, Monarch Tang listened to the words of the messenger outside. In other words, all 100,000 coalition troops were slaughtered before they even reached Shanhaiguan. Thinking of this, the man didn't dare to hesitate at all and immediately issued the order. Reporting to your majesty, Tang Shenjian and his 100,000 coalition troops have all encountered unexpected events. Even the entire divine map is covered by the brilliance of this sun. His level of cultivation is even that of a saint. At this moment, the Demon King only felt that everything was beginning to develop in a bad direction. At this moment, a star lit up again on the map. Is this the birth of a new god? Just as Monarch Tang was about to continue reviewing official documents, a sound came from outside. Soon, Guo Ziyi and Li Jing arrived at the palace one after another. A battlefield was discovered near Shanhaiguan today. No one from the 100,000 coalition troops survived. Not long after the fall of Sakura Kingdom, Long Han had 3 gods born. If Long Han didn't know the truth about the sinking of Sakura Kingdom, he would never believe it. 2 more gods are born. Immediately afterwards, 2 divine lights lit up again in Long Han. Now that he has summoned the 2 of them, His Majesty must be preparing to use his true strength to deal with the Yaotang troops in Shanhaiguan. Pass me an order to order Guo Ziyi and Li Jing to enter the palace immediately. Long Han, the only one who knew about the incident, was now in particularly trouble. I underestimated this Long Han at the beginning. Guo Ziyi and Li Jing. What's the matter? The Demon King of Tang Dynasty snorted coldly and immediately covered the divine map again. At this moment, Monarch Tang sneered. These 2 people are important officials in the court. When he finished listening, a gloomy look appeared on his face. When the people outside the door heard this order, their hearts suddenly thumped. For a moment, Monarch Tang felt in a daze. Was it found near Shanhaiguan? Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 207. I have met His Majesty. Guo Ziyi and Li Jing are 2 of the best first-grade officials in the court. At this moment, he knelt down before the Demon King of Tang Dynasty, not daring to show any sign of neglect. They also heard about the alien alliance. When they first heard it, they couldn't believe it. That's an army of 100,000. 100,000 people, even if they are all the lowest level militia. If you want to destroy their entire army, it will take a certain amount of effort. However, according to the frontline battle reports, almost the entire battlefield was regulated within a radius of 10 miles, and the furthest corps did not escape this range. The entire army of 100,000 people was wiped out, but no corpses or even traces of any other enemies were seen on the battlefield. What does this mean? Not only are the number of enemies far smaller than the 100,000 strong army, but their strength far exceeds that of the alien coalition. Thinking of this, Guo Ziyi and Li Jing felt. This Long Han is definitely not as simple as they imagined. You have all read the frontline battle report, right? Seen it already? If you say you haven't seen it, you are definitely lying. After all, as long as an official of some rank is basically aware of the frontline battle reports. Now, the Demon King of Tang Dynasty came to see the 2 of them, without making it clear that he planned to let them handle the Shanhaiguan matter. If they say they don't know, wouldn't they be cowardly before they fight? Lord Yao Tang glanced at the 2 of them and then said. Long Han, this dynasty established by this alien lord, I admit that I underestimated him too much before. Now, I have sent 2 troops one after another, and all the troops have been destroyed without exception. So, this time, I plan to mobilize 50,000 Suanjia Army, 50,000 Shenji Battalion, 50,000 Red Armor Army, and 50,000 Modeo Team. A total of 200,000 troops. You too will lead these 200,000 troops to Shanhaiguan. 200,000 troops? Are they all elite? Guo Ziyi and Li Jing's eyes widened. The two of them have been in Yaotang for so long, and they have never fought such a rich battle. This is a truly elite army of 200,000 people. Its true combat power is comparable to an army of 2 million. Guo Ziyi and Li Jing looked at each other and saw joy in their eyes. With such a wealth of troops, it is more than enough to capture Shanhaiguan. How many defenders can there be at a border gate? An elite army of 200,000 people piled up, and each person could spray them to death with just a spit of spit. Thank you for your kindness, Your Majesty. I will do my best to capture Shanhaiguan. Looking at Guo Ziyi and Li Jing, Monarch Tang frowned slightly. He thought of the dazzling light he had seen on the divine map. That light is definitely not the light that ordinary gods can emit. Long Han. If it were said that the original demon king of Tang dynasty kept targeting Long Han in order to obtain the truth about the sinking of Sakura Kingdom. So now, Long Han's value in the eyes of Monarch Tang has reached an insurmountable level. 3 divine heads. If he destroys all Long Han, he will not only gain a large amount of dragon energy, but he will even gain 3 additional divine heads. One of the gods is an extremely powerful god. Such benefits have made it impossible for the monarch of Demon Tang to sit down peacefully anymore. This action also showed the confidence of King Yao Tang. After Guo Ziyi and Li Jing left, Monarch Tang's face became even more gloomy. With just these 200,000 elite troops, I'm still a little uneasy. Long Han, who has 3 divine heads, must not be a fuel-efficient lamp. Just in case, I have to leave multiple backup plans. Thinking of this, Monarch Tang returned to the secret room again. This secret room is in an extremely secret place. On weekdays, the Demon King of Tang Dynasty would only come to this secret room when there is no one around. There are many treasures in the secret room, and these treasures are the trump cards of the Demon King of Tang Dynasty. Similarly, there are also some trump cards that cannot be brought to the table. Arriving at a sealed room, Demon Tang Qiujun looked at the coffin-like containers one after another in front of him. Several of the containers had been opened, and a few others were just lying there. Lord Yao Tang stepped forward and opened one of the containers. In an instant, the container opened, and a pale man climbed out of the coffin. After climbing out of the coffin, the man moved his body. The whole body made a crackling sound. After moving his body, the man opened his eyes. After seeing the Demon King of Tang Dynasty in front of him, the man immediately knelt down and worshipped on the ground. Xuerongui, I have met His Majesty. That's right. The person in front of him has the same appearance as Xuerongui, but compared to Xuerongui, his appearance looks particularly vicissitudes of life. There is a clear and terrifying scar on his face. The Demon King of Tang Dynasty glanced at Xuerongui in front of him and said lightly. Today, a large number of gods have appeared in Long Han. I have sent 200,000 elite soldiers to attack. You should follow them. If a Godhead holder appears, kill them. Remember, Godhead is the most important thing. Xuerongui nodded, and then took out his belongings from the coffin. Put on a mask and throw on some clothes. After making all arrangements, Lord Yao Tang nodded with satisfaction. Very good. Now that he has a backup, even if he is in trouble, it should be more than enough to take down Shanhaiguan. Inside Shanhaiguan, the god of death Bai Qi stood on the city wall with some boredom. At a glance, everything is desolate. The god of death Bai Qi sighed. Looking back, the two sisters Len Yun and Len Yu were practicing. They constantly absorb the true energy into their bodies, transform it into divine power, and nourish their own godhead. Under their care, the growth of the godhood is also extremely rapid. I really envy them. Through practice, you can grow your godhead. Before he could finish speaking, the god puppet Lu Jin next to him spoke. You kid, don't take advantage of me and act like a good boy. Your godhead is quite special. Although you can't practice it, you can grow through killing. After one battle, your attribute improvement is comparable to others' results of 10 years of training. What else are you dissatisfied with? At this time, Lu Jin saw a carrier pigeon flying from the horizon. The carrier pigeon landed directly on his shoulder. Lu Jin saw the intelligence letter on the pigeon's feet and took it off. On it was the message delivered by the black guards of the Demon Tang dynasty. The Demon King of Tang personally ordered his troops, and 200,000 elites were heading towards Shanhaiguan. Among them, the leaders are Guo Ziyi and Li Jing, who have saint-level cultivation. The combat prowess of the two of them is considered outstanding even among military generals. The most important thing is that the king of Demon Tang personally gave 2 demon soul beads containing the remnant souls of divine beasts. The demon soul bead of the remnant soul of a divine beast? Lu Jin's eyes narrowed slightly. It seemed that his monster-suppressing pagoda was going to have new monsters. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 208. The Demon King of Tang ordered Guo Ziyi and Li Jing to lead an elite army of 200,000 to attack. The 200,000 strong army is mighty, and its rank has reached the strength of a third-rank legion. Such a terrifying force made the Demon Tang lords feel jealous. 200,000 third-grade elite troops. If I had such strength, wouldn't I be invincible in the world? What are you thinking about? Yaotang can produce so many third-grade elites, and maybe there are also second-grade or even first-grade elite troops. I didn't expect that after living in Yaotang for such a long time, I actually seriously underestimated Yaotang's strength. Rumors say, this time the elite troops have been given the qualification to use demon blood. Demon blood? That's a powerful secret medicine that's worth a drop of gold on the market. It seems that the monarch of the Demon Tang dynasty is really serious about it. Such a configuration is more than enough to defeat the entire Long Han, let alone take down Shanhaiguan. Demon blood. A very special secret medicine. After taking demon blood, the true energy in the body can temporarily enter a violent state. In a violent state, the speed of infuriating energy is 10 times that of normal. Similarly, the combat power of soldiers who take demon blood will be greatly improved. But such a powerful secret medicine can only be produced by the Yaotang royal family now. Moreover, the control of demon blood is extremely strict. Once the imperial family of the Demon Tang dynasty discovers that they are buying and selling demon blood privately, they will definitely die. But precisely because of the huge risks, the price of demon blood remains high on the black market all year round. But this time, the Demon King of Tang dynasty actually equipped all the 200,000 troops with demon blood, ready to explode at any time and overthrow Long Han. This is enough to prove that the King of Demon Tang attaches great importance to this battle. The demon blood of the 200,000 strong army and the demon blood accumulated by Yaotang in the past 10 years are probably all here. The output of demon blood is inherently small. Due to various confidentiality issues, there are only a few people who can produce demon blood. For this expedition, Your Majesty can equip our 200,000 troops with demon blood, which is enough to show His Majesty's expectations for us. Guo Ziyi looked at the porcelain bottle in his hand. A drop of demon blood as clear as a gemstone in the porcelain bottle was exuding an extremely domineering aura. Just by smelling this breath, Guo Ziyi felt that the energy in his body began to faintly surge. This is the powerful effect of demon blood. Li Jing, on the other hand, was riding a horse and was one position faster than Guo Ziyi. He looked solemn because he was the commander of this battle and had the responsibility to lead the overall situation. Xuerongui. The Tang Festival. All kinds of pressure fell on Li Jing. This made Li Jing dare not slack off at all, and he was vigilant throughout. From time to time, scout cavalry rushed from the front. Report to the general. We are still 10 miles away from Sanking Mountain. There is a village at the foot of Sanking Mountain, surrounded by mountains and forests. We have already checked, and there is no enemy ambush in the mountains and forests. Explore again. The reconnaissance cavalry was once again driven by Li Jing and left the main force to explore the road conditions. In just an hour, several scout cavalry passed the news. Guo Ziyi looked at Li Jing, who was so cautious, and couldn't help but speak. General Li, we are still a long way from Shanhaiguan. No matter how powerful Longhan's troops are, they can't fight deep into the hinterland of our Yaotang. So, you don't need to be so nervous. It's not a bad idea to ask those scout cavalry to reduce the number of reconnaissances. Before Guo Ziyi could finish speaking, Li Jing interrupted him. General Guo, have you forgotten what happened to those alien lords? In the 2 battles against Shanhaiguan, we, Yaotang, were completely defeated. This is enough to show that our enemy is definitely not a weakling. You should treat the strong with the same attitude towards the strong. How can you be sure that they will not send people to ambush us in advance? Maybe our whereabouts have already been exposed. Li Jing knew very well that he was facing an unknown and powerful enemy. There is nothing wrong with being cautious. Once they are careless and underestimate the enemy, what they will face may be the end of the entire army being destroyed. Besides, the monarch of Tang dynasty did not ask them to take down Shanhaiguan in a short time. They have a lot of time, and as long as they are careful, they will never give the enemy a chance. At this moment, a strange bird flew over Li Jing's head. Li Jing felt something in his heart and was about to look up. Report to the general. The Dusk Valley is ahead. The terrain of Dusk Valley is dangerous and it is extremely easy to be ambushed. However, we have already investigated and there are no traces of ambush in Dusk Valley, so you can pass with confidence. Dusk Valley. Hearing this name, even Guo Ziyi couldn't help but change his face. You know, Dusk Valley has another name, Deadly Battlefield. Because Dusk Valley is at the intersection of 2 mountain peaks, if you forcefully cross the mountain peak, you will waste at least 3 days. Moreover, the terrain of the mountain peaks is complex and the mountains and forests are rampant. It is easy for the enemy to seize the opportunity and use the terrain to ambush. But if you are walking in the Dusk Valley, once there are ambushes dropping rocks from the cliffs on both sides, that would inevitably cause extremely horrific battle damage to the marching team. Therefore, Dusk Valley has always been a battleground for military strategists. During the unification war of the Demon Tang dynasty, Dusk Valley lost countless lives of soldiers. Li Jing was also very afraid of the danger in Dusk Valley. After crossing Dusk Valley, they are not far from Shanhaiguan. If he were Longhan's general, he would definitely set an ambush in Dusk Valley. In the Dusk Valley, 1 person and 1 sword stood in the Dusk Valley. A bird fell from the sky and landed on the man's shoulder. And this bird is exactly the one that flew out from the Demon Tang army. If Li Jing had looked up carefully, he would have discovered that the bird was carrying a roll of letter paper. It's a pity that he didn't. At the same time, he also missed the only opportunity to avoid the crisis. Oh! 200,000 troops. Per capita 3rd-grade warrior. It's interesting, it's interesting. If I can kill all these people, I will be able to increase my attributes a lot. That's right. The person guarding Dusk Valley at the moment is Bai Qi, the god of death. The god of death Bai Qi stood in the Dusk Valley, the murderous demon sword in his hand already starting to move. And Bai Qi, the god of death, was even more excited. A black line gradually appeared on the distant horizon, and the black line gradually turned into a series of figures. The Demon Tang army has arrived. The leader, Li Jing, immediately saw the killing god Bai Qi in the Dusk Valley. 1 person? His heart thumped and he immediately ordered the troops to stop. 200,000 troops stopped directly at the entrance to Dusk Valley. At this moment, Li Jing looked at the killing god Bai Qi in front of him. For some reason, he felt an inexplicable fear begin to spread in his heart. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 209. Who's in front of you? Facing the sudden appearance of the figure, Li Jing not only did not look down upon it, but was very vigilant. The unknown fear coming from his heart told him that the person in front of him must not be a simple thing. This person is most likely sent by Long Han. And he guards Dusk Valley alone. Facing an elite army of 200,000 people, his expression remained unchanged, and there was even a hint of excitement between his brows. Master. This person is a master. Not only is he a master, he is also a master who is proficient in the art of killing. Thinking of this, Li Jing's expression became even more serious. He couldn't help but prepare to take out his weapon. But at this moment, Guo Ziyi next to him took a step forward on horseback. General Li, wait for me to bring someone forward to meet with him. If you are a person with strong martial arts skills, just call the red armored army to form a formation and strangle. If he is a nobody, I will kill him. After hearing these words, Li Jing said nothing more. Now it seems that this is the safest way. I saw Guo Ziyi holding a green dragon halberd and riding a horse to the place 50 meters away from Bai Qi, the god of death. After reaching this distance, Guo Ziyi dismounted and stood on the ground. I am Guo Ziyi, the first-rank Qinglong general of the Demon Tang dynasty. Please tell me your name. I, Guo Ziyi, have immortal and unknown people under my command. Guo Ziyi's words were arrogant, and his aura exuded invincibility. Looking at Guo Ziyi's arrogant expression, he looked like a victorious general. The god of death Bai Qi just chuckled and said casually. Long Han, the killing god Bai Qi. Killer god. Guo Ziyi sneered, you juniors, how dare you call yourself a god? Arrogant. Let me see if your martial arts skills are as arrogant as your mouth. The green dragon halberd was swung out with one strike. In an instant, he was full of energy. A sharp blade was like a crescent moon, attacking directly towards the god of death Bai Qi. The god of death Bai Qi looked at Yu Yagenkai, who was speeding towards him, and he raised his hand directly. Neither Li Jing nor Guo Ziyi expected that the other party would resist Yu Yagenkai with his bare hands. This is a sharp blade made from the condensed energy of the saint realm. Even beings at the same level as saints would not dare to resist easily with their hands. But the next second, the killing god Bai Qi condensed his true energy. In the air, a big infuriating hand directly grabbed the infuriating crescent moon. Holding the crescent moon, the god of death Bai Qi chuckled. Weak. Snapped. The crescent moon of Genkai was crushed directly, and Guo Ziyi's Genkai spread between heaven and earth. Seeing this scene, Li Jing was almost certain of the opponent's strength. Master. Absolute master. And Guo Ziyi also noticed the power of the person in front of him. The green dragon halberd in his hand trembled and began to get excited. Very good. I thought you were a weakling. Now it seems that it can help me relax my muscles and bones. As soon as he finished speaking, Guo Ziyi disappeared instantly. Cut. With the injection of true energy, the entire green dragon halberd emits a faint green light, and a dragon roar comes from within the green dragon halberd. Guo Ziyi arrived in front of the god of death Bai Qi in the blink of an eye, and the green dragon halberd in his hand slashed down with lightning speed. When the crisp sound of metal collision sounded, the next second, a terrifying infuriating storm swept across the entire Dusk Valley. Guo Ziyi's eyes widened and she couldn't believe it. his full blow was actually blocked by the slain god Bai Qi with one hand. The next second, the movement of killing god Bai Qi changed. Not good. Guo Ziyi secretly screamed something bad and immediately mobilized all her energy to resist. But then, the god of death Bai Qi just kicked him out. Boom. Guo Ziyi immediately flew out and fell several times on the ground before he could stabilize his body. What a terrifying strength! Feeling the chaotic qi in his body, Guo Ziyi began to stabilize his qi. At that moment of confrontation, Guo Ziyi knew it very well. The person opposite is a master. And he is a much stronger master than himself. The weapons in his hands are definitely not ordinary, but even without using weapons, he can defeat them in minutes. This is enough to prove his terror. I am afraid. If I didn't use the demon soul, I probably wouldn't even have a chance to fight him. Bai Qi, the god of death, looked at Guo Ziyi, who was looking embarrassed, with a playful smile on his face. Release your demon soul. Otherwise, you are no match for me. By the way, there is also the demon transformation pill. Take it as early as possible if you can. If you don't eat now, you probably won't have to eat in the future. These words fell particularly harshly in Guo Ziyi's ears. But who is Guo Ziyi? Naturally, he will not be affected by the words of the killing god Bai Qi. However, he also knew very well that if he didn't use the demon soul, he might not be able to resist the killing god Bai Qi in front of him. Thinking of this, Guo Ziyi chuckled. If that's the case, then it's embarrassing. The demon soul is released. A phantom of a green dragon appeared behind Guo Ziyi. At this moment, green scales like dragon scales appeared on Guo Ziyi's face. Red armored army, form a formation. Guo Ziyi shouted loudly. Thousands of red armored troops turned into meteors and landed on the ground. The red armored army besieged the god of death Bai Qi in the center. An explosion of anger. Thousands of Genkai chains shot out from the red armored army. In an instant, the god of death Bai Qi was restrained by these chains of true energy, and his movements began to become much slower. Seeing this, Guo Ziyi seized the opportunity. The green dragon halberd burst out with astonishing pressure, and Guo Ziyi jumped up. A blow with all your strength. Guo Ziyi knew very well that the Red Army's red trap formation could not trap the opponent for a long time. But, even for a second. That's enough. One blow fell. Boom. Along with a loud noise, the entire Dusk Valley trembled. Li Jing's heart skipped a beat. Can he kill the opponent in such a battle? If they can kill him, Long Han will have one less general, and their future battles will be easier. But when the smoke cleared, they saw Bai Qi, the god of death, raising the demonic killing sword in his hand and directly resisting Guo Ziyi's full blow. How is that possible? Aren't you trapped in the formation? Guo Ziyi looked incredulous. Thousands of red-armored soldiers were all third-grade warriors, using secret techniques to form a red trap formation. Even a saint-level being will be delayed for a few seconds after being tied up. How could he break free from the trap? And the god of death Bai Qi sneered, a bunch of third-grade trash also want to tie me up. Die. The god of death Bai Qi suddenly burst out with the aura of the immortal realm. The violent Genkai directly broke the Genkai chain, and all the red-armored soldiers were directly shot away by the coercion emitted by the slain god Bai Qi. And the god of death Bai Qi's eyes immediately fell on Guo Ziyi. The true energy bursts out. The god of death Bai Qi kicked Guo Ziyi out. In the air, Guo Ziyi felt a sweetness in her throat, and blood spurted out. But at this moment, he felt a crisis coming in his heart. Lord, spend tens of billions of Krypton gold and sign into the god-level arms. Author, Bathing in the Breeze. Chapter 210. Not good. Seeing the god of death Bai Qi, holding the demonic killing sword, he was heading straight towards him. Guo Ziyi felt nervous. He knew very well that if the sharp sword in the opponent's hand fell on him, he would either die or be injured. There was almost no time to think about it. Guozi roared angrily and released the demon soul directly. The demon soul is fully activated. Almost instantly, green scales covered Guozi's body. Stab. The killing demon sword struck Guozi with one strike. Guozi was immediately thrown into the cliff, not knowing whether he was alive or dead. And the god of death Bai Qi looked at the killing demon sword in his hand, a trace of doubt flashed in his eyes. Something's wrong. It feels wrong. That sword strike just now didn't feel like it hit any flesh and blood. At this time, Guozi climbed out of the huge pit on the cliff. With a plop, Guozi fell to the ground and looked at his chest. I saw the scales on his chest scattered on the ground, and a wound deep enough to show the bones appeared on his chest. Blood overflowed from the wound. But in just a moment's breath, the wound healed again. But it is very difficult for those fallen scales to grow back. General Li, cover me. Guozi felt a pain all over his body. He had to grow his scales as soon as possible. Otherwise, if the vital points are exposed in front of the enemy, wouldn't that be seeking death? And Li Jing looked even more incredible. You know, Guozi's demon soul is the divine beast Qinglong. With the scales of the Destiny Azure Dragon, even a master in the Saint Realm cannot easily break through the Destiny Azure Dragon's defense. But the opponent only used one sword. Guozi was severely injured with one sword strike. What a terrifying cultivation level this is. Army attack. Li Jing immediately mobilized 200,000 troops. In an instant, the army exploded, and a phantom appeared above the 200,000 strong army, holding a long knife and attacking Bai Qi directly. Such an elite force explodes with force, and its pressure is comparable to that of a strong man in the semi-immortal realm. If he were an ordinary saint, he would definitely be fascinated by it. But Bai Qi, the god of death, is in the immortal realm, not an ordinary immortal realm. Little tricks. Cut it out with one sword. Bai Qi, the god of death, directly mobilized his divine power and injected his divine power into the killing demon sword. In an instant, the killing intent surged. Scarlet evil spirit spurted out. The red evil aura and the golden military power suddenly collided together. Rumble. Dusk Valley suddenly collapsed, and the surrounding peaks seemed to be weakened by some invisible force, losing most of them. Seeing this scene, Li Jing's face suddenly became ugly. The whole army retreats. The 200,000 troops withdrew immediately. But this also caused Bai Qi, the god of death, to strike down with one blow. In an instant, the 200,000 strong army was blown away. Many soldiers were immediately killed by the evil spirit. But even so, most people quickly evacuated Dusk Valley. Such a posture left the god of death Bai Qi a little confused. To retreat in such a panic? Doesn't it mean that all these 200,000 troops are elites? How can he be considered an elite if he is so timid? But then, he realized that these people were not only afraid of him, they were even more afraid of the two things hidden in Dusk Valley. Roar. Two roars came out from the broken mountain. I saw that something seemed to be awakening in the mountains on both sides of Dusk Valley. Rumble. The mountain shattered and the soil slid away. In front of everyone's eyes, two demonic beasts with green faces and fangs awakened from the mountains. Demon Saint. There are actually two sleeping demon saints in the wilderness of Monster Tang. At this moment, even the god of death Bai Qi himself felt a little shocked. Li Jing looked at the two awakened demon saints and couldn't help but look solemn. Unexpectedly, the worst-case scenario happened. In the territory of Yaotang, there are many mountains or lakes where great monsters sleeping in the Saint Realm or even the Immortal Realm are sleeping. And this is also the origin of the name Yaotang. A dynasty built on big demons. Because these big demons don't wake up easily, the demons and Tang dynasties have always been in peace. In fact, some big demons are relatively dead in deep sleep and will not wake up even if their blood is drawn. With the help of the blood of these great demons, demon blood was made. But now, the god of death Bai Qi directly shattered the surrounding mountains, causing the sleeping demon inside to wake up. Next, these big demons will definitely turn their spears against Bai Qi, the god of killing. The god of death Bai Qi looked at the two demon saints who suddenly appeared, with a trace of confusion on his face. Immediately afterwards, the god of death Bai Qi took half a step back. Guozi immediately noticed the movement of Bai Qi, the god of death, and laughed loudly. The master of Long Han, who was fearless in heaven and earth, actually had time to retreat. Thinking of this, Guozi immediately rushed forward. The demon soul of the Destiny Azure Dragon erupted again, attacking directly towards the god of death Bai Qi. When the god of death Bai Qi raised his hand to resist Guozi's attack. In our demon Tang dynasty, there are about 100 such terrifying monsters. Today, you angered these two, so what if you are tougher? 3 saints are besieging you, and you can't escape with your wings. Oh! At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in the Dusk Valley. Lu Jin's figure appeared in the air, holding the demon-suppressing pagoda with a smile on his face. I didn't expect that there would be an unexpected harvest this time. You said there are hundreds of great demons sleeping in Demon Tang. This is great. I'm really worried that the monsters in my monster-suppressing pagoda are all low-level monsters. Since there are so many demon saints in Demon Tang, I will definitely have to go one in the future. Who? Guozi looked at Lu Jin in the sky. But no matter how he probed, he couldn't detect the slightest bit of Lu Jin's cultivation. The investigation results showed that he was just an ordinary person. But can ordinary people fly in the air? This situation can only mean that the person in front of him is more powerful than he imagined. Lu Jin did not look at Guozi anymore, but looked at the 2 saint-level demons who had awakened from their deep sleep. I am the mountain god of Sankingshan Mountain, the great sage of Red Ghost. Who is disturbing my purity here? I am the blue-faced great sage of Dusk Valley, who is making such noise here. As soon as the words fell, the 2 demon saints felt their eyes go dark. With a plop, the demon-suppressing pagoda fell, covering the 2 demon saints within it. Lu Jin raised his hand and took back the demon-suppressing pagoda. Before the Red Ghost Great Sage and the Green-Faced Great Sage could recover, they suddenly appeared in the demon-suppressing pagoda. Red Ghost Great Sage. The Green-Faced Sage. What the hell? The 2 demons only heard a loud noise, and before they could recover from their sleep, why did they end up in this ghost place in the blink of an eye? When Guozi from the outside saw Lu Jin raising his hands, he suppressed the 2 demon saints. His mouth opened wide, as if he felt like he had a nightmare.